All right, let's go to the Big East now, where St. John's is the number one seed, and this is being played at Madison Square Garden. They are 27-4. Rick Pitino is the Big East Coach of the Year, and St. John's really swept all these awards. R.J. Luis is the Player of the Year. Zuby Ejiofor is the most improved player, so obviously St. John's with all the hardware. Again, we've talked about the Johnnies plenty of times on this show in recent weeks. They've really defied the math, whereas Duke has their math is perfect. St. John's is proving you can win it in a kind of a throwback way. They're not a very good three-point shooting team. They don't take very many threes, but they beat you on the possession game because they get more than you do. They do it by forcing turnovers, getting on the glass, and they just play hard, and they've got grown men. There's a reason why Rick Pitino says he's not interested in recruiting high school players. These guys are grown men. Trotter, quick thoughts on the Johnnies here. How heavy of a favorite would you rate them? And by contrast, who is another pick you have in this league?
Yeah, I like St. John's for sure in this league. I think they're definitely the best team. I think they'd be my pick to go the farthest in the NCAA tournament because I think they're so switchable defensively. But if I'm looking at this league and just kind of handicapping it, I like the draw for Creighton a lot. Like they have a potential to play Georgetown or DePaul in their first matchup. That's like the walking wounded. Georgetown does not have Thomas Sorber. DePaul has multiple guys out. Like that's a win in the first round if Creighton can take care of business. And they're at the bottom of the bracket as well. Like they don't have to face a red hot Xavier team. They don't have to face a Marquette team that can really heat you up. They don't have to face St. John's until the title game. No, they match up very well with UConn. Like they have a lot of opportunities if they see them in the semifinals, I think, to take care of business and put themselves in position to get a little piece of hardware. And, it also helps when you have two of the best players in the country. Stephen Ashworth has been terrific, one of the best off the dribble shooters in college basketball. And then Ryan Kalkbrenner, like he gets anointed the fourth time that he's won the Big East Defensive Player of the Year. Like it's just rarefied air. I don't think we'll ever see a player do something like that again. The king of verticality, but he's just been outstanding offensively this year. We talked about him before on this show. Just the amount of times that he has stayed true to who he is while adding on to his game is really, really special. So give me the Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays are going to make a little bit of a run in MSG.
Yeah, I love Kalkbrenner. And just to reiterate what we said, and you can go back and watch this, we talked about players who opted to come back to college basketball rather than pursue the NBA. And Kalkbrenner, even at his age, given the resume, even after his fourth year, I think has only helped his NBA stock. He's the Defensive Player of the Year, but he's shown some increased offense and specifically his ability to stretch the floor. Everybody knows he's a drop coverage monster. He can really block shots. He's as much of a deterrent as he is a shot blocker. So huge fan of Ryan Kalkbrenner. The what he has shown this year, how it has both impacted Creighton and also helped his NBA stock. I think that's an important talking point in the Big East this season. Trotter, it's interesting to me that you were kind of anticipating a Creighton UConn semifinal there because your sleeper in the Big East suggests that you don't think Dan Hurley is getting out of the quarterfinals. Tell me why.
Yeah, so again, I have to clarify, if I could pick a real sleeper team, it would be Xavier, who's been the best team in the Big East since February 1st. But I have to pick something outside the top 5 seeds. That's why I picked Villanova. And Villanova, the one reason why is they have a little bit of that NC State type of recipe where it's like you have two outstanding individual offensive players that are really tough guards. And I think they're going to be able to take advantage of Seton Hall in the first round. And then you go into that second game against UConn. I have not seen UConn be able to guard Eric Dixon very well. And Eric Dixon and Wooga Poplar are just complete freight trains. And what's the big issue this year, like with UConn, is like they just do not stop guards from getting 2 feet in the paint and getting to the front of the rim. Wooga Poplar has been one of the best drivers this year, just those long closeouts. He attacks and can really mismatch hunt and get to the rim. So I like Villanova to maybe make a little bit of noise. But again, I'm prefacing this. I would have loved to go with Xavier, who I think is on a complete heater. And I really want to see that team in the NCAA tournament. Because if they make the NCAA tournament, I don't think they're just a bubble team. If they make the NCAA tournament, I think Xavier has a chance to make a legit run in March.
All right. Well, I'm glad you mentioned Xavier because my impact player to watch is Ryan Conwell from Xavier. He's at his 3rd school in 3 years, but he is playing his best basketball of his entire season in the last couple of weeks. He's got 4 straight 20-point games, and in that streak, he is shooting 19 of 30 from behind the 3-point line. When he is shooting the ball like that, stretching the floor like that, this Xavier offense operates at an unprecedented level, and his volume has been off the charts. I mean, we're talking about 6 or more 3-point attempts in 4 straight games, and he has made at least 50%. Well, he was 4 of 10 against Providence, but prior to that, he was 50% of better in the last 3. So he is playing at an absolute elite level, and it's giving this offense a totally new dimension. You got Zach Fremantle, the monster of efficiency inside. When those two were at their best, I'm totally with you. I think this Xavier team is a major threat, and that matchup with Marquette is going to be absolutely thrilling because let's face it, it's a game Xavier might have to win.